Hey everybody, it's Mr. Evans, and today I want to focus on dimensional analysis. This is going to be important because a lot of the math, starting with distance and displacement and moving on to velocity, acceleration, forces, energy, and so on, has to be in the same unit or the correct unit to be used. And so today we're going to focus on how to switch back and forth between different units, not only in the metric system, but from the system we're used to into the metric system if that has to be the case. And so let's begin by looking at the metric system, and obviously, we're not going to focus on every single option that there is within the metric system. And so what I want to start with is, let's just use our meter. And so we have 1 meter. Okay, and so as we move up the metric system, we end up with kilometers. And that is known as 10 to the third. Okay, so a kilometer is in 10 to the third power, meaning it's 1,000 times bigger than a meter. As you go down, you get millimeters, and actually just to do a different number, we're going to do centimeters, okay, which is 10 to the negative 2. Okay, that means a centimeter is 100 times smaller than a meter. And so we need to be able to use these numbers as we attempt to do some math. And so, for example, if I have this line here, or we don't even need a line, let's say I have 25 meters, okay, and I want to convert that into kilometers. How do I do it? Okay, well, you see the 10 to the third, and the key is you definitely want to make sure you do the opposite. And so all you have to do is you have 25 meters and you divide by 10 to the third. Okay, and so 25 divided by 10 to the third, that's the same thing. This 3 here also just means you have to move the decimal place over 3 times. So if you have 25, okay, your decimals here, you go 1, 2, 3. So you have 0.025 kilometers. Okay, so you have 25 divided by 10 to the third. Let's go ahead and erase this, and let's do it a different way. So again, you have 25 meters. That's great. 10 to the third is also equal to 1,000. And so all you're actually doing is divided by 1,000. If you type that into a calculator, bam, same answer, 0.025. Now, where it can maybe start getting a little bit trickier is what if we're in scientific notation, and we do need to get used to scientific notation. We will be using it in the future. Okay, and let's go ahead and start with so let's say we have 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4 kilometers. Okay, so we have a very small amount of kilometers, and I want to go all the way down here to centimeters. Okay, I need to figure out how many, essentially how many places I'm moving this decimal over. So the key here is to figure out this decimal here, it's going to move how many times. And so if we're at 10 to the 3 here, and we have to jump all the way down to 10 to the 2, or 10 to the negative 2, what we're actually doing is moving down 5 spots, right? And so if we're moving down 5 spots, we're going to centimeters. And so even though it looks like, because centimeters is 10 to the negative second, you're always actually doing the opposite. And so if we're going down 5, 10, negative 5, right? 3 down to negative 2 is 5. What we're actually doing is getting bigger 5-fold. And so what we need to do is 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4, and then you can either do divided by 10 to the negative 5, or if you don't like that way, you can do times 10 to the positive 5. Okay, both will get you the same answer, and both are exactly the same as having 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4 and moving it over 5 spots. And so actually all you really do here is, if you set it up like this, you're just adding negative 4 and positive 5 in the exponent spot. That's actually all you're doing. And so all you actually get is 2.5 times 10 to the 1, which is same as just 10, and so you can keep it as is, or 10 to the 1, you just move it over. 2.5 times 10 is 25. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a couple more examples here. And so if I erase this again, and let's go from, we're going to go from nanometers, which is 10 to the negative 9. Nanometers are crazy small. We're talking about, you know, you measure like cells in nanometers. All the way to, let's do megameters, let's get crazy, which is 10 to the 6th. Okay, and so I'm going to say I have, in our question, 6.2 times 10 to the 15th, or no, let's do 10 to the 24th nanometers. So I have a ton of nanometers, and I want to convert that to megameters. So again, I need to figure out how many spots I'm moving over in the decimal place. And so if I'm going from 10 to the negative 9 to 10 to the 6th, I'm moving from negative 9 to positive 6, and so I'm moving 15 spots. So the issue is my, exponent's getting bigger, and so what I'm actually doing is dividing by 10 to the 15th. And an easier way to do this, in my opinion, then, so you can just divide that, type it into your calculator, and you're done, or just do 6.2 times 10 to the 24th, and take that 15 and just subtract it from the exponent spot. And so what you end up with is 6.2 times 10 to the 9th, and that is your final answer. So hopefully this, simplifies some dimensional analysis. We can go ahead and do an example here, and we'll make it a challenging one just to make it our last one, of something that's not in standard units or standard scientific units. And so let's say we have 36 inches, and we want to convert that to kilometers. Okay, now in any type of question, typically you'll be given this information, but hopefully this is a standard enough unit that you don't need to be given a lot of information. And so first off, what I know is there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, so that means feet are bigger than inches, which means we're dividing. And so we're going to do 36 divided by 12, and so we have 3 feet. Alright, great. So I have 3 feet. Now I also know that 3.28 meters equals, not 3.28 meters, 3.28 feet equals 1 meter. And so again, our meters are slightly bigger, well not slightly, significantly larger, and so we're going to divide by 3.28. Okay, so 3 divided by 3.28, you just type it in your calculator if you need to, and you get 0.91 meters. So at this point we've successfully transferred it over to the scientific units we're used to. We're almost done. We need to go to kilometers, and as we learned, kilometers is 10 to the 3rd, and so we can just divide by 10 to the 3rd, which is the same as just moving the decimal place over 3 spots. And so what you should get is 9.1 times 10 to the negative 4th. Hopefully this helps clarify how to convert units within science, and again, this will be useful and honestly probably required as you move forward, because you do need to make sure things are in the correct units before you do the math, because if you start doing the math before the units are correct, your math just won't turn out correct, and not only will you not be in the correct units, you won't even have the correct number.